but this can be problematic because while online spaces can help promote social justice, they can also perpetuate hate. So take, for instance, a space like Twitter. Ugly, hateful hashtags are commonplace, from hashtag that's what sluts say to hashtag no more Islam. On the other hand, when Michael Brown was shot in Ferguson, the issue only made it onto the national news when it started trending on Twitter. So the question becomes, how can we ensure that online spaces and courses work to disrupt oppressive ideas rather than reinforcing them? So I teach future teachers in the Faculty of Education. One of the required courses deals with anti-oppressive curriculum, or teaching for social justice. As part of the course, students participate in 2 online spaces. An individual blog where they reflect publicly on course content, and a course hashtag where they can discuss course topics on Twitter. However, students express a lot of discomfort about talking about the controversial course content online, and so instead they construct neutral, sanitized digital identities that do nothing to disrupt oppressive ideas. And this is problematic because if our students are online and not talking about social justice issues, the message conveyed is that these issues aren't important. So my research explores how we might help students to understand how they are unconsciously reinforcing oppressive narratives so that they can begin to shift their online behavior. So 7 students participated in a series of conversations around anti-oppressive education and digital identity. And we worked together to unpack the underlying ideas about teaching that shape their understandings of both. And some key themes emerged. So first, students described what psychologists would call cognitive dissonance. That is, having 2 opposing ideas in one's head. In this case, our students wanted to be social justice advocates, but they also wanted to live up to the dominant story of the good teacher as neutral. And so in order to kind of resolve this dissonance, they needed to downplay the importance of social justice in their heads. As well, students believed that by speaking out online, they would actually become unhireable because they would be perceived as biased or politically radical. But there were some positive things as well. So while students believed that individually they didn't have enough power to speak out online, they felt that they were able to do so as part of the collective class group, with one student describing it as a community of discomfort that added a layer of safety. As well, students felt that the act of performing anti-oppressive educator online actually allowed them to try out that identity until they could become part of who they were. So ultimately, my research suggests that there are indeed supports and structures that instructors can put in place to ensure that online spaces become places of equity and societal betterment.
Anyone have any questions for Katya?
So I find it really interesting that your students were mostly concerned about whether they'd be hireable. Do you think that would actually be an issue, or do you think that's something that's, because I think that that's prominent in most people, they're concerned that if they write something radical online, or not radical, but, you know.
Well, I mean, I think that the issue is that if students say that they don't want to teach in a place where they wouldn't be hireable because of that, and I think that in most cases that wouldn't be an issue, but it's kind of the story that's told that teachers are going to be perceived as bad if they're doing radical activist things. I really don't think that it would actually be an issue, but they've been told that story.
Do you think the school, like, have you talked to the school board then, and like seen how the school board or how people that would actually be hiring these teachers would view them having a social presence that might be perceived that way?
In most places, especially in urban centers, that's often considered a positive thing. So.
All right, thank you.